In this video, I'm going to discuss why I think Corvus on Facebook and web is actually one of the worst tanks in all of Hero Wars.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero Wars Central, and in today's video, I want to discuss Corvus, the undead tank. This is going to be specifically for the Facebook and web version of the game. Recently, we found out that Corvus is going to be the hero of the month on the Facebook and web version of the game. Of course, we know that Rufus is the hero of the month on mobile. We are going to discuss a couple of things. First, we're going to talk about Corvus compared to mobile, and then we're going to talk about Corvus compared to other tanks. And hopefully by the end of this video, you might not 100% agree with me when I say this, but maybe you'll understand at least my point of view and where I'm coming from when I say that Corvus is one of the worst tanks in the game on Facebook and web. Actually, let's first talk about the comparison with other tanks on Facebook and web. If you go to herowarscentral.com, that's my website. There will be a link in the description box down below. You can go to Heroes and then hover over Max Stats, click on that, go into here, and then you have this spreadsheet. And this spreadsheet is the Facebook and web, the browser version Max Stats of all heroes in the game, including skins, including the newest Kark, Satori, and Phobos skins. And this does not include artifacts. It's just, max power without any outside buffs or interference. And let's first discuss why Corvus is a bad tank in relation to other tanks, and then we'll kind of talk about him specifically. So if we talk initially about the tank stats, when it comes to strength, Corvus is number 2, which at first glance sounds pretty exciting. Having this high of strength is it's going to prevent him from being crit as often. It's going to prevent him from, being dodged as often. But if you look at his actual health, right, his actual health is pretty low. And in fact, when it comes to his total health, Ziri and Rufus and Jorgen has got crazy health. But when it comes to tanks, his health is on the low side. Now, Astaroth has, I believe, the lowest health of all tanks, but Astaroth has a nice shield. Corvus doesn't have a shield. Corvus doesn't have a shield at all. He doesn't have an energy burn. We'll talk about his skills in a second. He's got less health than Galahad, than Luther, than Aurora, who's a pure dodge tank, then Cleaver. Of course, Cleaver has his Violent ability, which increases strength, and then, of course, Rufus and Ziri. He's got very low health. Very low health. When it comes to armor, he is close to the bottom, if not the bottom. I believe he is the worst tank in the game when it comes to armor. 25,797 health, over 10,000 armor less than the max tank. I don't think that there are any tanks that are lower. No, there aren't. Even Marcus, right? Even Satori now has more armor. Arachne has more armor than Corvus does, and this is the crux of his issue. This is where the argument stems from. Is his defenses, like on an individual, I'm a tough tank out front basis, is low, is terrible. Okay, take a look at his magic defense. Not bad, I guess. It's non-existent, actually. Where even is it? Down here. 20,000 magic defense. Put that in perspective, 35,000 is the max. That's Orion. The highest tank with magic defense is, well, Marcus has got the highest. That's crazy. I guess Morgan's got higher magic defense than than he does. I guess Chaba and Astaroth are the 2 tanks with the highest magic defense. So his magic defense is very poor. Of course, he doesn't have dodge. Corvus doesn't have dodge at all. Other stats don't really matter much. He doesn't have vampirism, so that's kind of a non-factor. So when it comes to his stats stacking up against other tanks, he's a really, really poor choice. Now, one of the things that I like to look at is the hero position. So he actually sits behind Chaba, Aurora, and Cleaver. So you could use him. As kind of like a secondary tank or a backup tank. A lot of people considered using him as a tank for a fast attack damaging team, but in my opinion, a fast attack damaging team on Facebook and web, you're probably better off with Cleaver, Aurora, Galahad. You're probably better off with no tank on Facebook, honestly. Using a dodge hero like Yasmin, or maybe a healer tank like Marcus, Ishmael instead, right? So then let's take a look at some of his abilities. And I want you to think about the classic role of the tank when it comes to the game of Hero Wars and in other fantasy roles across all types of other games. We'll talk about his 4 skills individually. We have this debuff. This is a damage dealing attack that deals a good amount of damage. It does decrease the enemy's defenses, which would make you consider him a great asset to a fast attack or a fast damaging team. But in practice, it doesn't decrease the defenses all that much, and most teams have an ample amount of armor or magic penetration to get by just fine, which makes this a nice cleave attack for the front end and a nice damage increase, but not as much as you really need. You have Unity of the Damned. This increases undead allies' physical and magic attack for 10 seconds. This damage bonus to undead allies would be very effective if there were more than 2 undead allies in the game. And on Facebook and web, the only undead heroes aside from Corvus are Morgan and Phobos. Phobos was just given the undead role last week. And those 2 heroes are strong heroes in their own right, especially now Phobos with his rework. But this ability only affecting 2 heroes instead of the 5 heroes that's on mobile, and really not even, I mean, the jury is still out on how effective Phobos is on Facebook and web. This to me is almost a non-skill. This Altar of Sorrows, we'll come back to this in just a second. Corvus's Violet ability, his passive ability. This is, I can think of some specific situations where this would be beneficial. When an ally's health drops below 20%, Corvus moves them to the center of the team, can be triggered once every 8 seconds. So the idea is you take a hero that's being beat up on your team and you move him to the center of your team. So a frontline hero all of a sudden is not getting basic attacks. A backline hero all of a sudden isn't being targeted by the enemy Jew or Dark Star or whoever. I can see this as an effective tanking ability, and it is in fact a tanking ability, which is something that you can say that Galahad does not have any of, for example. This is a nice tanking ability, but I'm not sure how. I mean, let me know in the comment section below. Have you guys ever won a fight because of Royal Defense? Honestly, I can see pulling Dorian in, like if you have a friendly Dorian and your Dorian gets wrecked, pulling Dorian to the middle of your team so that the aura gets everybody. Maybe that's a strategy. I don't know. But Altar of Souls, this blue ability. Corvus conjures an altar in the center of his team. This altar deals pure damage to the enemy heroes whenever they deal damage to allied heroes. The altar's health decreases when allies take damage. So the idea behind this tower, this altar, this totem, is that it will counter area of effect heroes. It will counter area of effect heroes dealing pure damage as a retaliatory strike. 2 things, however, make this incredibly less useful than the mobile version. First of all, the total damage output is way lower, and we'll talk about that when we compare the two, the Facebook and the mobile versions after this. We'll talk about that in just a second. The pure damage output is way lower, and the altar being in the center of your team means that it's much more likely to be damaged when an enemy pushes your tank back with like a Faceless or any number of other heroes that pushes enemies back, like the new Dante, knocked over with area of effect attacks. If you see a lot of Luthers, the altar being in the middle of your team makes it a lot more prone to being destroyed than the altar being in the back of your team like it is on mobile. So this is kind of the bread and butter ability. This and the gray ability that reduces the defenses of the enemy front line. But this is kind of the bread and butter ability. And taking Corvus by himself without talking about the effectiveness of a Corvus, Morgan, Phobos, space, two other heroes that ends up ultimately being this amazing, awesome meta team that just wrecks everybody. Short of somebody finding that team, I just do not consider Corvus an effective hero at all. He's a dead battery tier hero, and I'm going to do a tier list video on him in a little while. You know what, this might as well be my tier list video. Let's just make this the tier list video for Corvus, because I don't want to do another one on Corvus until he gets a skin, and that's what it's going to take. It's going to take Corvus getting a defensive skin, health or armor, magic defense, something. It's going to take that before I consider Corvus a playable hero on Facebook and mobile. Now, this is just my opinion, as a lot of my videos are just my opinion, but that's just kind of how I feel about that. So now, guys, if you're still with me, let's chat a little bit about a comparison between the Facebook web version of Corvus with the mobile version of Corvus, and why I feel the mobile Corvus tier list discussion video goes a completely different direction. I do believe that you cannot rank heroes based on their effectiveness with other heroes. You have to rank a hero as they are standalone. That's why I rank Krista as one of the weakest mages in the entire game, yet she's one of the top mage damage dealers that are used. So what I have here is a screenshot of the Corvus maxed out calculator for mobile, and this is provided by LoadRunner, fun little calculator that we have access to here and there. And as we kind of transition into the first skill, we're going to overlay the maxed out Facebook web version of the skill with kind of above the mobile version. And you can see Strike of the Damned. The Facebook version deals 47,000 damage. The mobile version does 19,000, almost 20,000 damage. So it does over double damage. However, the defense decrease is also roughly the same. So you have 6,663 defense decreased on Facebook, 5,585 defense decreased on mobile. Keep in mind that there are 3 additional color rankings and 10 additional levels on mobile as there is on Facebook. So the damage difference being 20,000, 27,000 damage more is considerable, but the defense decrease, which I find to be the most utility of this ability, that's the reason why I would want to use this ability to reduce the frontline defenses. It's not much lower. It's not much higher, I should say, than the mobile version with 3 color levels promotion and 10 levels. It's just too similar. It's just too similar. There should be a greater parity there, greater difference there. Skill 2, Unity of the Damned. This is the undead ally physical and magic attack buff. On Facebook and web, you can see 10,000, a little over 10,000. On mobile, you can see 8,200, almost 8,300. So really 1,000, 1,500 extra attack for your heroes, for your allies. And there are less allies on Facebook than there are on mobile. Like, again, there should be a bigger difference here. There should be a much bigger difference on Facebook and mobile. Maybe 15,000 attack. Maybe that's too much. I don't know. But this is the biggie. This is kind of the biggie right here. Altar of Souls on Facebook deals 9,212 damage. Altar of Souls on mobile does 15,000 damage per hit. Okay? 9,212 pure damage versus 15,000 pure damage hit. Right? The health of the altar on Facebook is 633,000. The health of the altar on mobile is 774,000, almost 775,000. All right. On top of that, the altar on Facebook is in the middle of your team. The altar on mobile is in the back of your team. So it's harder to hit. Now, it's possible that this calculator has been updated, and this is not the most up-to-date version of Corvus on mobile, but unless they've dramatically decreased the damage output of that mobile altar, like, this is just, like, the Facebook altar is a joke compared to this mobile altar. And this is kind of where it all comes down to. Like, this ability right here had all of these Kira players threatening to quit. Oh, no, my Kira. Oh, no, my Lars. Oh, no, my Kark. I don't know. Oh, no, my Daredevil team. It was making all these people threaten to quit because Corvus was added to the game. On mobile. On Facebook, he's a non-issue. Yes, he does a ton of damage if you do area of effect damage, but it's way less. It's way less pure damage on Facebook than it is on mobile. I mean, 100. The Corvus on mobile is 10 levels lower and is only orange +4, whereas this Corvus on Facebook here, this image on top, is red +2 and 10 levels higher, and the health of the altar is lower and the damage on the altar is lower. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. These should be inverted, if you ask me. And then finally, this valid ability is basically the same. When an ally's health drops below 20%, you move them. You move the ally. Kind of straightforward there. Basically the same ability. So that's it, guys. That is my, I guess that's my tier list discussion video for Corvus on Facebook. Maybe, I hadn't intended on doing a whole tier list discussion. During the live stream today when Domino showed me Alexi's screenshot that, Corvus was going to be the hero of the month on Facebook, I was confused because Phobos had just gotten the rework. I thought for sure it'd be Phobos for the hero of the month, although giving players access to Corvus Soulstones is a nice idea. I guess it's okay. And it'll help me continue to absolute star all heroes on my main account as part of a collect them all strategy. But if you would like to debate this topic, Keep in mind, I do live stream Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then Thursday, I live stream later on to coincide with the release of the weekly Facebook and web events that happen there. If you want to chat about Corvus and you think I'm wrong, come join the live stream and tell me why. Let me know in the comment section of this video if you'd like, or come find me on Discord. We can debate it. I'd be happy to debate it. I'd be much happy. We can max test on Facebook, so we can test things. It'd be easy. I'll also include at the end of this video a couple of Corvus videos that I did back when Corvus was released during Darkness Falls on Facebook and mobile. Check those out if you like. They are helpful, although given what video I just put out, maybe not that helpful. I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.